ladies, Birkenbarrels. We have
Rose.
Big Dick Chief.
Hey, Rose.
Owners and venues across the state right now play on a certain night. An infringement on the First Amendment is they're saying that you can't have cover charges for any event music, or there's someone playing. You could have a band doing that as well. They hired a lawyer, a Los Angeles-based attorney, and they filed this lawsuit in the court. The most recent action on that right now is a restraining order on Monday.
Raining now. Hey!
Restraining order that was filed on Monday to allow the venue owners to continue to advertise until they can actually hear the case and hear, the plaintiffs talking a bit about why they want this overturned. And it's basically, the lawsuit is against the state liquor authority. And the lawsuit the hearing date is set for September 23rd. So I don't think anything can really happen before then, but on that date, the judge will basically decide whether, they're going to allow this ban that the state liquor authority put in place to be put on hold for now. The interesting thing, though, is there was something that happened in Buffalo. There was a case that happened up there where a judge denied that restraining order. So we don't know what's going to happen, until we see what happens at that hearing and if the federal judge will allow that ban to be put in place, which would then allow any bar or restaurant owner to advertise that, a certain band was going to play on a certain night.
It's interesting. Can they post their specials for the evening?
I have to post specials that would have to include food, because that's another restriction that's put on bar and restaurant owners right now, is that they have to serve food with alcohol. And then a couple of other restrictions that are out there are people have to remain seated when there are performances. In New York City, obviously, you all know that there's no indoor dining. So any performances by bands would have to be outdoors in New York City. You can't have anything indoors. And I believe there's also a rule where the people have to be 12 feet apart from the band. And
yes, there is.
Everyone has to wear masks. There's no dancing rules right now by the SLA, so you can't dance to in a bar. Someone mentioned before, there's actually no exotic dancing. There's, if you have dancers on the bar, you can't have that. So there's a lot of mandates in place. So that's why this lawsuit is, something that's been filed. The state, what they're saying is that, they've allowed certain exceptions to normal rules for bar and venue owners, such as when they have pickup and delivery, they're allowing them to sell alcohol, which wasn't previously allowed, to my understanding. So, and they're saying that they're just doing this because they don't want large crowds to gather right now.
Right.
But they're opening up casinos.
Yes.
They just said that today, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, good because, they're making a lot of money on that. So,
Right.
Yeah. Who's that? Is that Kate?
It's Kate, baby.
Hi, Kate. How you doing? Welcome to the
Good.
show.
How are you doing?
I am good.
Thank you.
Just so we know that you're here. I didn't know if you were that or if you were Big Dick Chief. So I guess you're not Big Dick Chief.
Not tonight. Every other night.
Okay. I'm glad you joined us. Although we can't see your beautiful face, on the phone is just fine. That's great.
Okay, because I've never zoomed before. If you want the truth, so I can maybe add the camera. I'm not sure, and I didn't want to screw it up while you guys are talking.
As long as I can be your first, we're good.
You are.
Yeah, I was Eric's first Zoom too, but that was back in the band days.
That is true.
So,
I can hit the FaceTime. Will that give me the camera?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You got to join in right
stupid.
through the app itself. So.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Rose, you are representing KJ Farrell's.
Yes.
One of the places that's been hit pretty hard.
And playing music though, right?
Yeah.
Outside.
Yes, we expanded our outdoor patio, so we're still able to do incidental music.
Incidental.
Basically. incidental music. But we're still at 50% capacity. And not being able to advertise is killing us.
Right.
I mean, we resurrected old school emails, like sending out an email blast every week.
Right. That's tough. You're not a small place, So you need to be full almost every night, and I did talk to Kevin too. I know that they're struggling, it's not easy.
We're doing just enough to keep our doors open, hopefully, to get past this.
Yeah.
That's really where it's at right now. And he's got, one of his other locations is closed. He has the warehouse in Amityville.
Yeah.
And it's so big. And we can't, we're going to try to get it open, but for right now, it's in a holding pattern.
Right.
Because that is, mostly live music.
Yeah.
And 50 people in there isn't going to pay a quarter of the rent.
No. Last time we did this, we talked to Dan from 89 North, who was he was telling us that he was at least able to change his insurance to have an empty building insurance. I'm hoping that Kevin can at least do that, but I know that's not going to help that much. But I know insurance is a big part of the bill too. So
a lot of it, and the other thing that Dan spoke about was, his lease is based upon occupancy. So if it's based upon having 400 people in there at a night. And if he's not doing that, his lease needs to be renegotiated. But are they going to do that? So, he can't do anything. He's in a holding pattern just because it's just not financially feasible to even open at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Another point here. I love that New York State says the music has to be incidental. I'm sorry, if you're a musician, you are not programmed to be incidental. I'm sorry. That's
matters.
Billy, have you ever been thought of as being incidental?
No, I would like to think that the music matters, and I matter in the thing I've been doing with you guys my whole life.
Right.
This is life's work. I'm seeing friends of mine like George Cintron, Greg Smith, having to do Facebook Zoom things to rally up some money. And these guys are some of the most talented people that this island has ever produced, along with many of my friends. And it saddens me as a performer and as a New Yorker that our hands are so tied, that we're in this holding pattern. Is a perfect way to put it.
Right.
There's not much to do. You follow the rules, and at the last minute, it seems they get changed on. I'm watching even the restaurant business in the town I live. Some of these owners who have incidental music, as you put it, they're only going to be good for another month before the outside dining is no good.
Right.
And then what do? I'm watching people that I've known for 20, 25 years that don't know if they're going to be able to make the rent just to keep the building open. So we're in a sad state. No pun intended, a sad state of New York we are in right now. And if we do not unite as musicians, as citizens, to figure out what the hell's going on, we are not going to last this.
Right. I mean, I know everybody here, we took a big hit yesterday with the announcement of the night before with Revolution.
Big club.
Places.
Yeah, it's a big hit.
That's, and maybe a little
guys,
more for the original bands. The original bands were there a lot. I mean, we've been fortunate to be at KJ's, and I know that everybody else here has played at KJ's too. So, I know we're all trying to. Hopefully
this bigger problem, this bigger thing we're seeing here at KJ Farrell's at Revolution, clubs in the city. See, the Bitter End.
Bitter End's close. Yeah.
On their last leg.
Yeah. Very, very.
So if you think about a club like the Bitter End, this is world famous. It's got the New York City plaque on the front bricks. If they can't make it, this is a trickle-down effect. It's not just the music. It's not just the restaurants. It's the business. It's the guy who hosts websites. Okay?
Yeah.
people don't think it's going to affect them. It will affect you. Sooner or later, if you can't go out, buy, shop, it's all going to dry up. So, you know, we are at a very pivotal point in our lifetimes to make change and to fight. And I think that's that we all need to bond together, regardless of opinion, and figure out a better way, because a lot of you guys know, I know, have kids and families. You know,
yeah. When you're talking about the clubs, it's not just the club itself. I mean, we're talking about Rose. How many people are employed at a KJ's? You got quite a few.
Yeah. So before pandemic, we had about 25, 28 people, depending. During our busy season, we would hire sometimes more. And now, honestly, we're working with a skeleton staff of like 5 or 6. I brought back, 5 or 6 core people to work, and everybody's just pitching in, because too, also our hours here are cut. We went from being open from 12 in the afternoon to 1 in the morning, 7 days a week. Now we're doing 5 days a week from 3 in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night, because we have to be done by 10.
Wow.
Because our music is outside. So, it's a big hit. And, if you're not generating the income, you can't hire the people back. And if you can't hire the people back, it's definitely contributing to unemployment all the way around for every venue that is not open, or for every venue that's at, half hours. It's just crazy.
It's as a musician, it's so difficult to fathom what's happening. But as a club owner, the obstacles that they're putting in your path, it is so illogical. It's convoluted in every sense that it almost makes it impossible for you to follow the rules and put enough people to build it. So I think, and that's Tracy, I think that's what you were talking about earlier. It's one thing to try and open up. It's hard enough in good times. This is almost impossible, and I think that's the master plan. They don't want us to come out. They don't want us to play. They don't want people to gather. And a lot of people are going to lose everything they've had, everything they've worked for, the businesses. So we're here. This is what this meeting is about.
Right. Well, so Amanda, I think tell us about, you've been playing out live, right?
Yep. How's it been going? Very fortunate so far to still be out there. Interesting, to say the least.
No dancing is allowed, correct? Is that the...
No dancing. And it's hard for us because we are literally a dance party band. That's what we do. Like, we're there to entertain. We're not incidental. We're there to entertain. We're there to show people a good time, get them up moving. And it's pretty hard to be vocalist, performer, singer, and / security crowd control at the same time.
Right.
One of the last shows we did, I literally had to tell people in the middle of songs to stay seated, dance in your chairs, entertain yourself that way. And it's very weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But we're trying to keep the, relationship with the venues and keep people active, and also keep people out there, like, entertained. We live music, I think, is not just part of, being out there, performing. You're bringing something to the crowd. The way I look at it as the lead vocalist in a band, I'm there to interact with you. I'm there to show you a good time. I'm there to make it memorable for you. You want a good Friday night out. You want to shake off the work week. That's what my goal is every time I go into a show. So to not have that same interaction and that same feeling with the crowd, it's difficult. It's very hard.
Right.
Yeah. We've had we've had some issues with even some of our, I guess some of our best friends and our most loyal followers who have even started to shy away from coming to see us because of the environment at the places. And we've got something coming up where we have the ability to get some tables reserved for some friends and family, and we've been hearing from people that come to all of our shows normally, they're like, we don't want to come, because they don't want to be yelled at all night, so it's That's
Sure.
happening too.
Well, come on, be incidental, damn it.
I think the hard part about that is
Yeah, bring that down to the
we can't be incidental.
Yeah, I know.
We can't be incidental.
That's the reason why you're in that band. I know exactly why.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the hardest part about it is looking at it from every perspective, looking at it from the perspective of the band, looking at it from the perspective of the audience, and also the venue owners, these restaurants and these places that are at least fortunate enough to still be able to present entertainment. But there's so many chokeholds as far as restriction. And they don't want to have security guards telling you can't dance. I mean, we're not Footloose era.
No.
Like, it's those venue owners. You feel for them. They're just trying to be like everybody else and keep their business active and alive. And it's just that these laws are just.
Yeah.
Guy that's out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in the music industry, mixing all kinds of bands, local bands are pissed.
Wow. And yet here, you can't even can't even stand up.
You go to other places up the coast, and there's certain places that can't, they've got their tables sectioned out, 6 foot, and doing all that social distancing, and people are wearing masks. And then you go out to places, there's nobody wearing any mask at all. It's just like, it's willy-nilly, what I call willy-nilly. It's just wacky, weird how you go one place and nobody's working, and you go another place, and it's just like old times.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I know that we can't do pretty much shit here the way things are right now.
That's the way it sounds. I mean,
Yeah.
I some of the
You
stories.
got lives hanging in the balance with this.
But
Yeah,
then, I see the news, and I see what the people that's running New York are doing, and how they're cramping down on all the businesses and telling them they can't do this, can't do that. But yet you see other politicians outdoing what they're telling other people they can't do. That's just crazy.
Yeah. I hear you.
People are losing their livelihood. I mean, people are suffering, not from COVID, from the fact of not being able to run their business the way they used to run it. And that's not the American way.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know there's a big divide between like what's safe, what's not safe, but there's got to be a middle ground that we can agree upon. That.
Well, certainly there needs to be a middle ground right now in New York, because we're at a 0.6% contagion right now, which is great, right? And if we can continue doing that, that's fine. But I don't think we can continue doing it the way we're doing it. There's going to have to be something that's going to have to tip this over, because everything is shut down. I'm in Manhattan every day. The restaurants cannot do indoor dining. In 3 weeks or 4 weeks, they will not be able to do the outdoor dining they're doing right now. And the outdoor dining is a minimum. It's maybe less than 25%. And you can see some of these very, very nice places that do have open fronts that cannot have indoor dining. And it's impossible. And the fact that Broadway is shut down, every single business that thrives upon that business is shut down. Every single person who works, from stagehand to lighting to set design to even seconds on the shows, are not working. There is zero work in New York. It's extremely difficult to see. It's tough for me, because I'm in there and I walk around and just see more and more places shuttered at this point.
Right.
Even your side gig, if you weren't playing, was at the local boutique or whatever, and they're closing. So there's such a ripple effect on all of this. I know everybody's struggling and making the changes they need to make in order to keep their business, their bars, their music, but I think Amanda said, it's a stranglehold we're on right now, and it's going to be impossible for people to get the foot off their neck if we don't do this quickly.
Right.
Yeah, great.
Right. Wow.
It's painful. The lawsuits are good. If anybody's watching this, find the number of your local representative in the state and call them and say this is just unacceptable. Just flood them with calls, and we can do lawsuits too. But phone calls do not hurt. Email your rep. Do all of these things. every little bit helps to actually build this back up and get us going. It's a matter of communicating. You can't just have, the after effects of a couple of problems that have been out there. You can't punish everybody. It's not as if the one kid pulled Sally's hair in the classroom and everybody has to stay after. So, things have to change, and a lawsuit's a good start. But again, you need to call your representatives. You need to call your congressman, even the state congressman, maybe even the national congressman. I know it's against national politics, but you do need to communicate with these people because they do work for us. Right.
Now, the other thing
I agree.
Is to try to help out these the clubs are the ones that are employing at least the bands that. For us in Long Island, I mean, I understand that New York is missing out a lot with not having Broadway. I mean, New York is Broadway. If we don't have that, we're like every other city. Out here in the island, we need our clubs. We need someplace.
We need the clubs. We need people working. We need them playing. We need people who are the support staff there working.
Yeah. I know there's a something coming up September 19th to I think Kevin's part of that, trying to help out some of the clubs. I believe it's a benefit in Eisenhower Park, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. Lenny, did you give me that link or no? Somebody gave me that link. So I'm gonna mute Rose for a minute since she's walking through the.
Somebody's having fun. At least one of us.
Yeah. So Eric Amenek, tell us how many gigs, much money did you guys lose in this?
Yeah. It's funny you bring up money, and obviously, and I think Amanda said it earlier, we've been trying to work with the venues that, we're regulars at. And we've obviously taken a pretty significant pay cut for our gigs, and we discussed and, we felt that we wanted to number one, we understand the reason for the pay cut. We also understand that, we wanted to get out there and, our friends and followers wanted to see us, so we figured we'd take these gigs, but I saw some things floating around this week it was in one of the groups on Facebook where, I don't know who it was, but I wouldn't mention it anyway, was saying that, sort of calling out all bands and saying, don't accept these pay cuts because, we're not worth it. And I mean, I get it, right? We're not worth the pay cuts, right? I mean, we should be getting what we get, but at the same time, I get the venue side of it, and how can you,
absolutely,
as a band and an entertainer, expect that a place with 50% capacity at best is going to, and they can't charge a cover and everything else, is going to be able to pay you, So I mean, I think there's certainly a debate there. I mean, from our perspective as a band, we sort of get it, and why it's happening. Not happy about it, but we're also not. At least I'm not looking at it as the venue being the enemy here and saying they're trying to,
definitely not.
Trying to. It's just not that way.
This is not pay to play. That we're in this together. I think we're looking at trying to keep fans of ours happy. We're trying to communicate with them, trying to show that we're willing. We're suffering too, and we're suffering with you. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm going to get the top dollar that I was getting, before for gigs. For this, people need to get paid. People need to share in whatever we're doing right now. It's not as if, KJ's is getting, the full house and, and they're in the back room, counting it out going, well, Eric was going to get this, but you know what?
Now Eric's going to get paid like an original band.
How does it feel being an original band, everybody?
I know as a venue, like, coming from the venue end, and especially for Kevin, his thing is, and from day one that I've worked for him, he's always, made sure to instill how important the musicians are to us. Okay. And, I know for him, at the end of the night when we're saying, okay, what are we doing? How are we doing this? It hurts because the bands that we have played here at KJ Farrell's, at the Warehouse, they're almost like a family to us.
Absolutely.
Anybody that comes in that has played here more than once, we get to know them. They get to know our sound guys. So, when you're used to paying a band one way, and then at the end of the night, you have to go to them and go, listen, guys, I'm really sorry, but this is what we have for you. It's not a comfortable situation. I know it bothers him because, again, he does consider, that we're all in this together. And I saw the post that person had made, and I don't respond ever on Facebook to anything. It's not worth it. And I was like, are you serious right now? We're all, and that's how we do feel. We do feel that we're in this together. Musicians are so important to our livelihood, and we know that we're important to their livelihood, so, and that's how we hope it works for everybody.
Absolutely. We got to kind of stick together here. We have to help to keep the clubs open. So I mean,
that's right.
Eric, I know taking a pay cut. I don't think you have any choice. I mean, really, if you want to be able to play again at some point, you have to, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you take the pay cut, or you don't play.
Yeah.
You've been very fortunate.
And at the same time, I feel like we are in our own way helping the venues in some way. I don't know if it is or it isn't. Right. Sometimes at the end of the night, I kind of feel like, why did they even have us? Mm-hmm. And was it worth it for them? Like we did something a couple of weeks ago where I'm sitting there and I'm saying that I don't even think they're making enough to pay us tonight to offset the cost. But at least we're trying. We're out there sort of working with the places that work with us and hoping that it means something.
Hopefully, right.
But yeah, it's what are you going to do? It's either that or you don't play. And I think there are some bands that are just not playing. I mean, I know for a fact there are bands that are not playing, and they must have made that decision saying, hey, look, this is our rate.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to pay our rate, we're not going to play. I mean, that's their choice. But we as a band decided that wasn't going to be the way we would approach this.
Right.
I think the way that I look at it is, and this goes back to the SLA law kind of squashing stuff as far as the advertising. When we first started in this, pandemic situation, we figured at least we're bringing people to these restaurants and these venues, and at least these people are paying for food and drink, and they're helping to do their part to keep these places open. But once that, we'll call it an edit to that SLA law, because that's literally what it was. It was an overnight edit. Cutting out just being able to say that there's a band there, that limits the amount of people that are going to come to that establishment. If a band knows the vibe, we'll just use us for an example, is playing at this particular venue, there are people that are going to come out, and there are people that might not have gone to that restaurant in particular, or they've never been to this one place, and they're spending their money and they're continuing to keep these places open. And that played into our fee situation. Like, we decided if we have to take a cut on this, it's okay right now because we're doing our part to keep these places open. The hit with Revolution was so hard, I think, for everyone on the island, because I think everybody in the Long Island music scene has some sort of tie to that place. I personally, I don't think I've actually played on that stage, but I have, in my day-to-day job, I have brought bands there and I've put on shows there. So it's hard to see that and to be fearful of that eventual repercussion where it's just going to be this downslide of places closing. So I think we as a whole in the Long Island music scene just need to, and New York too, we'll talk New York as a whole, I think we all just have to do our part to kind of keep things in motion as best we can until we can come to a solution on this on a state level.
Right.
That's just my take.
Yeah. I think Revolution was definitely a hard hit. I mean, for myself personally, it's one of the places, I mean, KJ's does original music too. It's one of the places that me and Billy, as an original artist now, exclusively, that's one of the few places that we can still play and has a big stage, that we did well at. Now we're looking at going into the city, I mean, obviously we took a big hit with the Rail. The Rail was our place, right, Len?
Yeah.
That was our home turf, man. I miss it. That's my place, and I'm hoping I can talk the family into reopening that one. So.
Yeah, it would be nice.
So Big Dick Chief has joined us. Hi, Big Dick.
Yes, the
Do we
great.
know who this person is?
I have
Mystery
no
absolutely
idea.
not know better.
This is really fucking me up. How's it going, Big Dick? I am just having a ball with this. I love this.
You're having a ball with Big Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having a ball with Big Dick. This is great. I have no idea what the fuck this is.
We're gonna cut that. Take that as a sound bite there, Joey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. There we go.
Sorry.
Now we have Big Dick on screen.
Why do I feel like I know who this is?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think I know who this is.
Wow.
But I'm not going to play a guessing game.
Well, welcome aboard.
Get closer.
All right. All right. Who's got something to say here? Speak up.
You know, Eric, you were saying that a lot of bands aren't playing,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, as a musician, you know, you can only play so much in your house
That's right.
and play along with tracks and sing.
Yep.
You need that interaction. You need the volume. You need that machine turning with you in it to keep your chops up. I can't tell you the last time I've rehearsed twice a week with a band. It's got to be 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it for that reason. And as an original band, man, it is tough because in the times we're in right now, it's very difficult for you guys to get work.
Mm-hmm.
It's even tougher for us.
Oh yeah.
So you know what? If we could do 3 nights a week, I'd play 3 nights a week. It's the way to keep the sanity because
That's
I
right.
don't know about you guys, but I'm losing it, man.
Oh yeah.
For
Yeah.
no other reason.
There's no outlet.
Not of my own, to stay healthy, to be this age, to still be able to play and to contribute and to feel you're at the top of your game and not be able to do it is devastating. So, I hear you, man. I heard you.
Yeah, no, I know. And for an original band, I can't even imagine what you guys are going through right now.
Eric, I can't even get into the studio to finish up a record.
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah,
can't
that's-
let me in the studio. Joey and I we have a 10-song full-length record out, and I can't get back in to finish the tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're at 80% done.
Yeah. See, before anybody was able to go out, we were kind of laughing, saying, "Yeah, now even the cover bands know what it's like to be an original band. You're just sitting in the basement just playing all the time."
Yeah.
And without being funny about it, it gives us time. We spend a lot of time writing our music and honing our 30 songs that we're doing. So like we didn't lose time like I think like with other bands, because Bill, what we wrote, right, 2 songs for the new album like that. Really
with a new
quick,
drummer, with a new
right?
drummer.
And like every week we're because now we're practicing twice a week, so now we have the ability to just like we wrote another song last week and just
you could stay honed, and I
Yeah.
think that keeps the attention off of the problem that I think is very self-destructive, because we're in a very serious point, like
Right.
we were all talking about, and united we stand here, boys, girls.
So Big Dick, do you got anything to say here? You have anything to add in? Well, welcome aboard no matter what. This is too much.
Well.
So I'm still waiting to hear from, I know Dave from 10 Tons popping in. I know we were hoping to get Paul, because I know Paul knows Tracy very well, another Staten Island person.
Yeah.
Right, Tracy? He's really good at speaking about his mind, too. He's been good on... Tracy, I got to say, you've been really good about bringing some of the bands forward and really speaking up for us. I know not specifically for any one band, but at least having a voice for us. So...
Yeah, thank you for that, Tracy.
Yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Love to see you guys playing again soon.
Yeah, I hope. I hope. So, Gene, you got to tell me more about this. You have some clubs down there, and if I'm right, you guys are not in the same position that we're in New York. I think in New York we have some of the lowest percentage of COVID cases right now. And
well, at one point, probably a month to 2 months, I'd say 2 months ago, we were pretty low. We were ranked way under. I mean, New York really ramped up. There was some other cities that really ramped up at the very start, but I think that was a lot of the older people that was put into COVID patients put in with the assisted living, and that caused a big debacle up there. At least that's what I've heard down here. Now
that was one issue.
Yeah, out of many.
A big one. I'm not trivializing it at all.
Well, I understand that. But down here, people weren't wearing masks at all at one point. I mean, I started wearing a mask back when they first started talking about it, just because I'm diabetic, and basically my mom's 93 and I'm taking care of her most of the time, and she hasn't gone to an assisted living yet. Still living on her own, but she's having memory issues. So I basically just, I took it upon myself just to not even try to take on any clients photography wise. And some of my clients were dropping off, and at the first of this year started off, and it was like hitting a brick wall. I mean, you couldn't do anything down here because everybody was scared to go out and do anything. But as soon as they opened this state up, it was like wild west. Everybody was coming down. Clubs was flocking. I mean, the numbers started going up, and now we're like third high. I think we were third highest last month. I'm not sure what the numbers are right at this point, but some of these clubs, they have bands. I know guys that I've worked with when I was mixing years ago, and they're out there working these biker clubs, and these biker clubs pack out wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder, and none of them's wearing a mask hardly at all. It's crazy. It's just everybody, it's just wide open. You see some people wearing masks in the grocery stores now. You see, and places actually, they kind of reprimanded and told people, look, when you have somebody come in like Walmart, you got to wear a mask, but you go in Walmart and then you see people without masks. You wonder how they get in here. Well, obviously they wear a mask in and then they take the mask off. Some people are wearing it around their chin. Some people are wearing it over their mouth and their noses. Right. It's all over the place. But there's been some clubs down along the Murrells Inlet and not so much, Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, I don't really know. Atlantic Beach just always wide open. So I don't know what the club scene is going on up there. We have House of Blues up there. They've talked about having this country music fest that's coming up in October. Who knows?
I don't think we're allowed to have any type of, I know we're not allowed to have any type of festival. I know that. We kind of fucked it up with the Chainsmokers, right? That one show.
Yeah, that
drove this into the ground.
Yeah.
But that's how the clubs have been. I mean, this one club down in Murrells Inlet, it's called Dead Dog Saloon. They've had bands for months, and they actually televised their shows, and you could tell, 2 months ago, there wasn't a big crowd in there. But lately, there's been big crowds down there. I go down there and drive by the parking lot, and the place is full of cars. There's people everywhere. So I know that these places are having bands because the bands are out there working. I applaud them for going out and trying to do what they do. But then again, you got to wonder, I mean, what's going on with the COVID thing, and why aren't some of these people contracting the virus, or have they had it and they're over it, or right. It's hard to say because everything's just been so up and down like a roller coaster. It's crazy.
Well, that sounds like the complete opposite of what we have here, because here we're locked down so tight,
Yeah, I can't imagine. I hear the news and what they're saying about businesses up there, and then I listen to you guys each week, and it's like, wow, they're really putting the screws to not just musicians, but they're putting the screws to hairdressers and everybody that owns a business and sole proprietorships. It's rough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's we're gonna have a mass exodus out of New York by the time this is all done. Unfortunately, because of so many people losing businesses. So
yeah, and that's already happening. That's already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say in New York City, it's already happening.
Yeah. I mean, I know, a big supporter of the New York scene is Wendy Scripps down in the East Village, and I know unfortunately I saw her saying a post that she wants to get out now, and it's like I can't imagine her being anywhere other than in the city. I could never imagine her being anywhere else. She is the city to me. Has an art gallery down there and everything. So if she's saying she wants to get out, there's trouble.
Yeah, and the bitter end is not barely holding on. I mean, they're doing GoFundMe stuff and trying to do that for even their employees and stuff, and that's an iconic place, much like CB's was, but that's a different story. But
been around since I think '62, Tom.
Yeah, I think between you and I, we've probably played there a couple of hundred times.
Yeah, I mean, I lost track well over the '90s. It's been many, many times on that stage, and you become family with the club owners, with the promoters, the owners. I mean, I used to talk to Paul Colby all the time. Yeah. Kenny Walker, who's not here. So to see something like that evaporate that you'd never think ever could happen, don't think that it couldn't happen to you. So I think that's the whole point here. Just because it's a club or the little bar. Look, Tommy, we're talking to TC, and she's having a hard time holding on.
I know. And
that's a little bar, man. That's a little neighborhood bar.
It's not a big nut, but you know what? It's what she has, and that with no income. Right. How long do you keep that up? I mean, she's working she said 2 jobs in order to just
2 jobs to pay the nut at the bar.
Right, and that's it, just to make sure the place doesn't get
This is the complete opposite of a bitter end, where it's a local neighborhood bar, that's open during the day. They do their drink trade. It's been there forever. Yep. She's been there, I think, 20 years now.
Yeah,
it's been a long time, but it's not enough. So that little tiny club is being affected. So it works its way down, and it could affect everything and everybody, and eventually it will if it's not stopped.
Right.
And usually, at least the music community. I mean, if we have one of our own, and realistically, Long Island, we are a huge family. I mean, everybody that I know here, I would do something for, and usually what we do is we throw a benefit, right? Our friend that had a problem, we threw a benefit for him. Kate's done many benefits, and unfortunately we were unable to do the last one for her.
Yeah, but that was a big one, right?
Right. Normally we do a benefit for anybody, but we can't even do that. Like, I know any one of us would do benefit for the club owners to help them. Let's keep these places open, but we can't. There's nothing we can even do about this.
Because it's everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It's everyone, and it's going to be a long time too. It's not just going to go away in a minute.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And it's going to start happening more and more the longer we go.
Right. And I applaud Amanda and Eric doing what they're doing. They're out there, just keeping, the places alive. I mean, I know, Amanda, it sucks.
Ryan,
just fucking sit the fuck down. No dancing. It's a dance band, but shut the fuck up and sit down.
Yeah. As we're playing a song that has dance in the title, I'm like, we gotta reconfigure
dance. No fucking dancing. I don't care what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm literally changing lyrics on the spot when we're playing, because we have these staples that we do with our sets, and I think this one show I told Eric in between sets, I'm like, we got to cut anything with dance in it. I'm like, we have to just shut up and dance, I want to dance with somebody. Right. And the guys just, we're so in tune with each other, and we're so used to going from like one song to the next that they went into shut up and dance So I'm literally singing the lyrics as "sit down and dance with me" because I'm just trying to like be like,
Right.
no, just sit down and dance. You can sit down and dance. It's fine. It's just, it's hard. And I think the biggest question that's on my mind on all of these restrictions that are being put down is why? Like, where is the logic behind a lot of this? Like, a lot of these places, like the comedy clubs,
no logic.
you know,
Convoluted
the comedy clubs
logic.
have put, you know, the comedy clubs have put like, you know, all of their, you know, things in place, the plastic shield between the performer and the audience. They've done everything they need to abide by the regulations, but then they get slapped with another regulation and another one. And it's, where does it end? Like, where is it going to stop with the amount of regulations that are just pushing this industry down? It's almost like, you know, everybody was talking about the gyms, and now gyms have been opened and casinos are now being opened, but where's the live entertainment outlet? Where is there anything that anybody can do? And that's my biggest question on this whole thing.
Right. And that's, you know,
Makes no sense.
Lets off a lot of steam for a lot of people as entertainment, you know? You know, they allowed sports to come back, which is entertainment, you know, I understand.
Yeah.
But, you know, of course, they're not letting them back in the stadium.
That's a whole nother show.
Isn't there a way to get half that stadium or 1/3 of that stadium, get people in there? Come on, man. You know, like it's killing those sports teams too. I get it. They evidently must have more money than we do in bands. I'll tell you that.
Joey, it's not even that. It's the vendors there, right?
Yeah,
it's the
right. Exactly.
It's the guy who owns the gypsy car lot down the street who's parking people so they don't have to pay $15. They only pay him $10.
Right.
So that guy, it's the trickle effect from all of this is horrific.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, but then then you have a point, right? Then you have vendors going around to, how do they serve people, right? I guess, right? You get the hot dog guy. He's going to touch 1 million people in that stadium.
That's it. The hot dog guy killed everybody.
Yeah.
Death by hot dog.
I'm not buying a hot dog anyway. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Not by that guy.
No.
So, anyway, it's that you know, again, we're working with Broadway, we're working with that, we're working with our local clubs, you know, working with our local musicians. You know, a few of our friends are doing, you know, still doing parties and corporate shows and doing stuff like that. That the pay is there, and they are only incidental music. They really are. So, you know, that's all well and good. But for the rest of us who want to play music and do shows, really,
you know, there's another part to this, another tentacle, if you will.
Yeah.
We're talking about ourselves in New York here, and other entertainment clubs and venues. This is a nationwide thing. You have bands that are not playing out, like the Rolling Stones.
Absolutely.
That's a huge machine. That's it. That's hundreds.
Yeah, Tommy, what did they gross? Was it 300 million?
Right, but they have a crew of 100 people that travel with them, right?
Okay, now,
and each show is 100 people working the show. So
right, I know a guy who did 20 years with the Rolling Stones. He was the main crew guy who got the planes and the trucks on and off that stage, all the equipment.
Yeah,
he still does it. He doesn't work for the Stones. I think he was out with like maybe Timberlake. But the point is, he's not even doing it, and that's a veteran of that business on the highest you could possibly be. Gone, it's done, it's evaporated. And here's another thing: he's too old. You're not going to be able to slip back into this thing. You have a certain shelf life.
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain time you can only stay dormant.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a rigorous business, as you know, on the road. But you know, that big upper band, the Stones, anybody out there, they're not playing. The Paramount. What's going on with the Paramount right here? You know, on the island.
Yeah, it's a big venue.
I think on a we obviously want to keep this New York driven, but on a national level, my day-to-day business, I deal with internationally touring artists. So right. I don't think the music industry as a whole is going to ever be the same once we recover somewhat. There are venues nationwide that are closing down. And I know that months ago, there were organizations formed from independent venue owners and talent agents reaching out and trying to get funding from the government to help this scene, because they saw this coming. They saw it coming months ago, that if there was no help to this particular industry, it's going to collapse and crumble apart. And I think we're at that precipice right now where it's going to go one way or the other. And daily, on a regular basis, I'm struggling just trying to keep my bands alive and functioning. And it's hard. It's hard all around. And what you're saying as far as crew members, but that trickles down even to the local level. Like you said, the Paramount, anybody that works there, anybody that works at any of these venues in the city, that was their bread and butter. That was their nighttime job. That was their daytime job. This is bigger than just the performers that aren't able to get out there, and I think there needs to be more of a grassroots attempt to try to get this to the forefront. And I think we're starting to get there. I know the thing on September 19th is a good direction to go to here, but I think there's a louder voice that needs to be heard, and I think it's being stifled. So,
absolutely.
On that note, I have loved being part of this chat, but my day-to-day is going to take me in another direction right now.
Okay.
I didn't want to do the old Irish goodbye, so.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to. I'll see you guys later.
I like to sneak announcements. But it's been good, and I'll check out the rest of the conversation on YouTube. Thanks for having me, Joey.
You got it.
Thanks,
Anytime.
Amanda.
Lenny.
Hi, Amanda.
Lenny, I miss you.
And Amanda's
Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Amanda's right. She has it nailed. I mean, it's not. I realize the musicians are suffering. I mean, if I was a musician at one time and was a musician for years and years and years, and I had my photography that I shot, and it was fun. But musician is what I was, and entertainment, and I entertained people. When I played drums, I entertained people when I was in band, and I traveled all over the country doing it. But I can see where you guys are hurting, and I see the trickle-down effect with everybody that's connected with any band, whether it's the small crew they have on local gigs to nation gigs that they just travel around with their normal crew in a truck, to the big gigs that big bands are playing with, the thousands of people that are working in the venues for the band and not with the band. I mean, everybody is suffering from the whole lockdown thing and trying to get everybody going again. I mean, it's crazy, weird, but everybody is suffering at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know that they're saying that in the fall of next year, touring for a lot of these national artists are going to start up again. How is that going to happen when they can't figure out what's going on now?
Yeah.
I mean, do they know something that they're not telling us?
I think it's just a gauge. I think it's just a gauge to see how long it's going to take until we can get to some sort of normal. I think that's what it is. They're looking at, you look at other markets and you look at like Europe, they're starting to somewhat get back into it a little bit here and there. And I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to be different steps and different layers to something that's more complicated than I think any of us can anticipate or have anticipated. That's it.
Thank you.
I would love to go. I would love to speak more, but I do have to run out. I got another meeting to get to. But much love to all you guys.
Thanks, Amanda. Good seeing you.
Miss you, girl.
Save our stages. Save our stages.
Save our stages. You got
Take care, guys.
You got it.
Bye.
She's trying to say goodbye. There we go.
And Big Dick is back. Tell us.
Big Dick is back.
Tell us.
Big Dick, what do you got?
What do you got?
Got anything more? Is he wearing some funky 3D goggles now?
Now he's watching.
He left again. All right.
Oh my God. Hey guys, I'm going to take off. Joey, I will put the app on my phone if you do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd like to have you on.
Yeah, I would love that. We'd love that.
You got
I
it.
actually have to go too.
Okay. Not a problem. I think we're going to wrap it up. We had a
let's just wrap it up.
Quick discussion.
Oh, come on, guys. We can't wrap it up yet.
We'll probably just have to, keep doing follow-up like this on here because the lawsuit's going to be ongoing. The changes apparently come at the whim of whoever is making these whims at this point. New York City is a mess. Long Island is a mess as far as this goes. again, like I said, I love what Eric and Amanda are doing. They're out there playing. They're not getting the full pay, and I would love to query Jerry and Mel to see how they compromised on some of this stuff. I know they're
they were practicing tonight. But yeah, rough.
Hey Tracy, what is the vibe over in Staten Island? I know you're a little different than what we are here on the island.
Paul Kane had sent me a short video of how they're doing some music here, and it's very little. It's